all, welcome to Mysteries with Divina. I am your host, Divina Shay, and today we're going to be talking about another serial killer, another angel of death. But before we get into that, this week's riddle. The case of the rich man's murder. A man is found murdered on a Sunday morning. His wife calls the police, who question the wife and the staff and are given the following alibis. The wife says she was sleeping. The butler says he was cleaning the closet. The gardener was declared that he was picking vegetables. The maid explained she was getting the mail, and the cook said she was prepping breakfast. Immediately, the police arrest the murderer. Who did it, and how did the police know? Stay tuned till the end, and you'll find out. Today's story is of Amy Archer Gilligan. Amy E. Dugan was born October 31st, 1873, to a James Dugan and Mary Kennedy in Milton, a suburb of Litchfield, Connecticut. She was the 8th of 10 children. She was taught at Milton School and went to the New Britain Normal School in 1890. At 23, Amy married James Archer in 1896, and at 25, she had her daughter, Mary J. Archer. She was born in December of 1898. Now, it didn't dawn on me to actually research what happened to her daughter, just until now when I just thought of it. So I have no idea what happened to her, but honestly, with the reputation her mother acquired, I would have fell off the face of the earth too if it was me, just saying. The Archers got their first job as caretakers in 1901. They were hired to take care of a John Seymour. He was an elderly widower and settled in his home at Newington, Connecticut. Seymour died in 1904. His heirs turned the residence into a boarding house for the elderly. The Archers were allowed to stay and were put in charge of providing care for the elderly for a fee, and in turn paid rent to the Seymour family. They ran the house under the name of Sister Amy's Nursing Home for the Elderly. Don't know where the sister thing came from. The woman was not a nun. At least as far as I know. In 1907, Seymour's heirs decided to sell the house, and the Archers had to move to Windsor, Connecticut, and use their savings to purchase a red brick house that they converted into their own business, the Archer Home for the Elderly and Infirm. At age 37, she became a widow. Her husband, James Archer, died in 1910 from Bright's disease, which is just a generic term for kidneys, diseases, plural, I don't know. Whatever was wrong with him, it was in his kidney, and he died. Amy had, conveniently taken out an insurance policy on him just a few weeks before his death. So she was able to continue running the Archer home, but she did experience, some financial difficulties here and there after his death. In 1913, she would have been 40 at this time. Amy married her second husband, Michael W. Gilligan, a widower with 4 adult sons. He moved in the Archer home during the summer of that year. He was 57 at the time and in perfect health. He was reportedly wealthy and interested in both Amy and investing in the Archer home. Michael died February 20th of 1940. The official cause was acute bilious attack, or in other words, severe indigestion. Amy Archer Gilligan was once again financially secure. In their short marriage, her new husband had drawn up a will, leaving her all of his estate. How convenient. Now, mind you, they were married, on November 25th, and not even 3 months did this man last, and then he's dead. Done. February 20th. Fishy, fishy. Now, for the murders. The first reported death in the Archer home was in 1911. 81-year-old Hilton Griffin died of general debility and old age. So I'm not exactly sure if that one, he actually was part of the murders. She just might have gotten lucky with him. In 1912, Franklin Andrews enters the Archer home. He was perfectly healthy. It's kind of a pattern here. You get there healthy and you just tap out when you're in there. 10 other residents also started living there during that year, and there was a total of 15 deaths. Fast forward to 1914, Amy is 41. January 6th comes around, and Amy wrote Frank Andrews a letter. The contents of that letter, we'll get to that in a minute. Second week of February, W.H. Mason's Registry of Poisons recorded a purchase by Amy of 10 ounces of arsenic. And as mentioned previously, her second husband died shortly after that, if you catch my drift. On the morning of May 29, 1914, Andrews was doing some gardening in the Archer house, and his health suddenly collapsed within a day. He was dead by the evening. The official cause of death was a gastric ulcer. Now, his sister, Nellie Pierce, inherited his personal papers, and she soon noted occasions where good old Archer Gilligan was pressing Andrews for money. June 11th rolls around, and Alice and Loren Gowdy sign a life contract with Amy for $1,000. Now, that's something I failed to mention. When you entered this wonderful Archer home, you had two options. You could either get on a monthly payment plan for, as long as you stayed there, or you could pay her upfront $1,000 and you could stay there for the rest of your life. A little dangerous, if you ask me. December 3rd, Alice Gowdy died at the Archer home. Amy's clients showed a pattern of dying not long after giving their caretaker large sums of money. As the deaths continued, Pierce, Franklin Andrews' sister, reported her suspicions to the local district attorney. He mostly ignored her. Pierce then took her story to the Hartford Courant, a newspaper. On May 9th of 1916, the first of several articles on the murder factory were published. The police started seriously investigating the case. The bodies of Gilligan, Andrews, and 3 other boarders were exhumed, and all 5 had died of poisoning, either by arsenic or strychnine. I think that's how you say it. Local merchants were able to testify that Amy had been purchasing large quantities of arsenic, supposedly to kill rats. A look into Gilligan's will actually helped establish that it was actually a forgery written in Amy's handwriting. I knew it. That was too convenient. Plus, the man's got 4 kids. 4 kids, and he's going to leave everything just to his new wife. He's not going to leave anything to his children. That just didn't sound right from the beginning. She was charged with first-degree murder on July 13th of 1960. Amy was originally charged for 5 counts, but ultimately her lawyer managed to get the charges reduced to a single count for Mr. Franklin R. Andrews. Wonder how he managed that, to be honest. On June 18, 1917, her trial began. June 23rd, Amy took the stand for her own defense. My goodness, what she could have said to save herself, I really don't know. I mean, everything is just points to guilty, you know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine what she would have said. Please, jury, I have a bunch of rats I had to kill. You were killing something bigger than rats, my friend. The jury found her guilty. She was sentenced to death. She spent some time in prison, but was later moved to a mental hospital in 1918. Amy appealed and was granted a new trial in 1919. She pleaded not guilty on the grounds of insanity. Insane she was, but she definitely knew what she was doing. She was found guilty of second-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison. In 1924, in July, Amy was officially declared insane. She was 51. She was sent to Connecticut Hospital for the Insane in Middletown, where she would spend the rest of her life until her death at age 89. On April 23rd of 1962, she died in her hospital bed of natural causes. And that, my friends, marks the end of this story. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it, but before you go, the answer to this week's riddle. The answer to this week's riddle is the maid, because there's no mail delivered on Sundays. I hope you all enjoyed today's show. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.